kind of a summer are you expecting?
Busy. You know, it's documented how many players have gone out, although the majority of those players were, you know, relatively the younger pros. We feel that changes need to be made. You know, the last 2 seasons have not been up to the standards that, you know, fans would expect or expected of the club. So that needs to change, and obviously recruitment now is going to be vital. You know, there's a lot of talk about finances and this, that and the other. We're alright, you know, in terms of, I know where I am at the minute. That situation may improve, which would be great, but if it doesn't, then I know, you know, what spectrum I'm working in, and we've identified a lot of players already.
You touched on a lot of players leaving the club, a lot of out of contract players. Is that you starting to maybe stamp your own mark on this squad?
Well, I think I need to, you know, I think I need to start looking at, you know, people say your own type of player, you know, just what I feel players who would suit us and make us better. That's what I'm looking for. The players who were out of contract, you know, were good servants for the club, but it was time for them to move on, and that is ultimately my decision, but sometimes it can be the decision of the player as well. There are obviously financial implications in that as well, you know, in terms of, you know, cutting the wage bill a little bit and then using that money to bring in players that you want to bring in.
And naturally, when players leave, you're going to be on the hunt for some new players as well. I'm guessing that process is already well underway.
Well, it's been well underway for quite a while, and you know, I don't think we're far away from, you know, agreeing with, you know, 2 or 3 players now. So that excites me. You know, that gets your juices flowing, because it's good to bring in fresh blood and the type of player that you want to see here and the type of player that you think will make us better.
A lot of fans will not see this part of your job in particular. You know, the presumption maybe is that managers go on holiday at this time of year, but that's certainly not the case with yourself at this moment in time.
No, I'm due a holiday, but since the season finished, I've been working really hard. I've been in Norway, I've been in Spain twice, been in France. I'm off to France again. I was in Spain yesterday. I'm off to France tomorrow. So yeah, it is part of the job. It's challenging, but it's good, because, you know, if you find that right player, then the rewards are great, you know, not just for the club, for the team, you know, for yourself to bring success and the style of footballer that you want to bring to the club. But it takes hard work, you know, and you have to do the groundwork sometimes, and I think it's always important, if you're a manager, that you can go and have a look yourself. It's not always, you know, feasible during the season, but certainly the one good thing about finishing the season early is other leagues are still playing, so you can get out and watch players live and have a good idea of if he's the type of player that you need.
Is this the kind of model Bolton Wanderers need going forward, in terms of looking at these maybe 1 or 2 obscure leagues and players that people may not have heard of before?
Well, why not? I mean, we have had some fantastic British players here at Bolton, but, you know, if you look at some of the Scandinavian players that have played here over the time, or, you know, African players who have played here, the game's global now, and I learned that from my time at Celtic. And I learned on the financial implications that you can go out and find, you know, players for less money who will come and enhance you and make you better. So that model, or that sort of philosophy, is something that we're trying to look at here. It's not easy, it's such a competitive market, and you have to deal with agents a lot, which isn't always an easy thing to do, but they have a job to do as well. So I respect their stance on things, and you know, you can have 3 or 4 options for one position, but you only get the one player, and you have to go through the process of talking and looking at all of those players.
I'm guessing you'll be keen to get a lot of the business done early, so you can get these players in early for pre-season. Yeah,
I mean, pre-season, it's always important. I think there's more importance on this one at Bolton than I ever had before at Celtic, because we're coming in completely fresh, and then we got a good 6-7 weeks. You know, the pre-season programme is in place. The players know what's required of them when they come back on the 29th of June, and then it'll be in terms of bedding down a sort of platform for the majority of the season. We haven't started the last 2 seasons well, so I'm not saying there's extra pressure on this one to start it well, but it would be good to get off to a good start. So hence pre-season being a little bit more emphasis on the importance of that this year.
What kind of a pre-season can the players expect?
Tough, intense, but you'd expect that from pre-season. It's not always about running, it's about, just getting the tactical work into them as well, and making sure that they have a good foundation to go into what's always going to be a very tough season in terms of the amount of games and the physical and mental demands that are going to be asked of them.
What kind of a Bolton Wanderers side are you expecting to have, and what kind of a Bolton Wanderers side do you want next season?
Well, it's a difficult question. If you look at the two teams that went up, they played very good football and they played good attacking football. Now that's something that I've always believed in. I've tried not to be a defensive minded manager in my makeup. I think you've seen you've seen bits of what we want to do, particularly in the home games. And maybe you have to play a certain style at home and maybe a little bit different away. I'm not too sure we've got enough good players overall to play the same way home and away. But certainly at home I want us to play attacking football, and if we can get Clayton back, Clough back, Heskey, Johnson, and add a couple of players to that, and get a bit of pace in the team, which we lack in certain areas, then I think we can bring that philosophy to the team.
But all in all, you must be excited from a personal point of view.
I'm very excited, because we're doing a lot of hard work at the minute. We're doing a lot of hard work in the background, in terms of trying to source these players and sell them to the club and get them to come and play for us. And like I said, it's not just us that are doing it. Every other club is in the same boat. I think there's a lot of clubs maybe not in the same position as we are financially, because they're in a lot worse position than us. So with us cutting the wage bill, and we may cut it a little bit more, then it gives me a bit of scope to bring in the players that we want. Now there's players out there that won't cost a lot of money and will improve us, so it's up to us to try and find them.
All in all though, excited and looking forward?
I'm very excited, yeah. I'm very excited. I'm not putting any targets down. The only target I want to make is that we improve. I haven't set out. I won't be able to set out any sort of targets until I know what kind of squad I've got to finish with. But we're in the process of building that at the minute. We are very excited about next season. We are very excited about the challenges that lie ahead of us. This is a totally different concept from what I was used to at Celtic, and this is basically starting from, I wouldn't say scratch, but we're starting here and trying to build the club and the team to here to take us where we want to be. Now that's going to take a bit of time. Who knows? We may do it next season. I don't know, but that's the exciting bit. You're going into the unpredictability of football. But what I'd like to think is that we will be in a lot better position this time next year.